And it is bonus audio time. Cat, are you ready?
I was born ready, Lonnie.
There it is. What I say before we started recording, that's Danelaw dirt under these nails for
Yeah, Danelaw.
her. Nordic Mythology Podcast with Matthias Nordvig and Daniel Ferran just recently had somebody on talking about Danelaw. Highly recommend it. So good.
I haven't had a chance to listen to the new episode yet, so
Yeah.
I'll have to check
Well,
that out.
lame. Okay. So
Oh, don't you judge me, Lonnie.
the first question around here is always the same. What famous person's resting place do you most want to visit?
Oh God. I don't really have a list of like graves that I want to go visit.
Got burial mounds on your mind, right?
Yeah, but like we don't actually know who's in most of those. I mean, when you're kicking it with Bronze Age peeps, you don't really have the names. Um, so maybe I could talk about burial mounds. I guess I'd like, as boring as this is, I'd like to go visit the guy in the burial mound on the moors near where I grew up again. It's been a while, and I miss the dude.
You missed
So
the dude. So, like,
yeah.
how'd you get to know this guy? What happened?
So sitting on his mound, funnily enough.
There's a name for that.
Yeah, it is right.
Uh-huh.
It's what crazy people do. No, it started just like because I mean, it's his mound is kind of like a central part on the local moors. And so hikers always go by it. You know, people will bring, it's like a local custom to bring a rock as you're walking across the moor, and then you put it on top of the rock cairn at the top of the mound. And me and my friends, and just me on my own, got into the habit of just going up there and sharing food with him. So it kind of went from there. And then sitting out, hanging out with him, you know, I've caught him on camera before now. He's super helpful. I always feel very welcome when I'm on his mound, which I know is not the usual narrative about mound sitting, and I've had some bad mound sitting adventures as well. But he's really, you know, there's a sense that he's cool with me being there. So, you know, it's kind of like going seeing an old friend. And whenever I'm back visiting my parents, I try to get up to his mound as well, just to kind of like, you know, sit there, eat some food, share some food and drink with him, and you know, have a bit of a chat. Um,
So that mound remains intact. It's not been
yeah.
excavated or anything like that.
Well, we don't know if it's been excavated or not. This is a mystery.
Mm.
Yeah, it used to be owned by the sort of like the what do we call it now? Department of Defense for years. You know, like you could not go up there for years, and so nobody actually knows if it was excavated or not. Um,
Mm.
I don't see any signs of excavation. Not that I'm an expert at these things, but it's I don't know. Like I get the feeling that it's still in there, that he's
Cool.
still in there at least, or at least a chunk of him still in there, enough to keep him there. You know,
Hmm.
but
Now,
he's
oh, go ahead.
sorry. He kind of has this vibe like he's watching over the land as well. You know, like you sit there and you can kind of imagine him kind of like, yeah, this is mine. I'm here to take care of this. He's he's if you make friends with him, and this is something that happened to myself and two friends. This was really cool. We were up on the mound. We were having, you know, lunch up there. We were, you know, including him in the conversation. And it was my friend and her kid, who was kind of like 10 or 11 at the time. As we're hanging out the mound, this mist blows in. Now, mists on these moors, they come down so quickly. You can go from having good visibility to you can only see a foot in front of your face. It's just, and then because it's a tussocky moor, and it's like it's hell on your ankles if you hurt yourself. You have to be really careful on this terrain, and it's boggy as well, so you got to watch where you're going. You know, you kind of don't want to be moving when it's this foggy out. So we noticed and like, oh God, how the hell are we going to get back? You know. And then my friend's kid's like, why don't we ask him at Mound? why don't we ask the guy in the mound? And I was like, that's a brilliant idea, Jim. So we asked the guy in the mound. Suddenly, this kind of like passageway sort of opens up through the mist in the direction we need to go in. And we're like, oh, thanks. So we go through this passageway in the mist. And as we pass through, the mist kind of falls in behind us, but it opens up in front of us as well. And we're kind of being guided through this mist over this moor. And what's really, really cool to me to this day is that across this moor is a massive earthwork. If you don't know where you're going, it's impassable and you have to kind of walk along it to find a place where you can go over it. So, this mist that we went through, the passageway through the mist brought us through the earthwork, right through the part that is the easiest to go through, no problems whatsoever. Around us, like, we couldn't see anything. It was just like this wall of mist, and in front of us, the passageway is opening in front of us, and we got right back to the road, no problems. But that's that guy. That's the kind of things he'll do.
That is pretty cool.
He's, yeah, like I said, I'd go visit him.
Now, when you visit a cemetery, or I guess even a mound, do you have any specific traditions that you follow before you get on the mound or enter the cemetery, or when you're visiting a grave, or any of the above?
I mean, it depends what I'm doing there, really, doesn't it? Like, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going for a walk around, I'm maybe gonna knock at the gate because if it's cemetery, I've read that locally that's a thing that's considered polite. So I'll knock at the gate because I've heard that's what some folks around here where I live now do locally, and it's good to observe local, manners. And then I'll just kind of like go in. I'll make offerings at like random places. I'll just basically try to build friendship. Just kind of like be like, "Hi, it's me again." Pick up trash and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, with mound, if I'm going to do a mound sitting, then I will go. If there is a custom to kind of like leave a rock on top, I'll make sure I do that. I will make offerings to any spirits there. I will sort of pray. I will chant. Um, if I'm out on the moors, I tend to use the wind to get into trance because the wind up there is like white noise. It's that harsh. There's a tiny little plant that has these little fluffy buds that I put in my ears so that it doesn't hurt my ears. But other than that, it's like this perfect white noise for just zoning out. And then I will do my thing. But usually it's just offerings and kind of like, hey, if I haven't been somewhere before, I will feel it out for a while before doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you really want to know what kind of beings might be there before you rock up at night and are like, hey, hey, it's your boy Cat. Hey, Drogo, it's your boy Cat. Yeah,
Now,
so just manners, really. Just try to have respect for them and, just show that through my actions before, pestering them.
makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Um, what do you believe awaits us in the afterlife?
Ooh, I
Ooh,
think I think what awaits us in the afterlife is whatever story we tell ourselves about the afterlife.
interesting.
I
You think we
think
have that much to do with it?
I do. I think that one of the things I found from working on battlefields and just doing necromancy in general is that the story you tell the dead when you're moving them on or when you're calling them up is massively important. I know a lot of heathens are kind of like, oh, I'm going to journey to hell to talk to, whoever's relative. But if you start singing, like, if you start trying to sing the dead over on a battlefield full of 19th century dead, and you're singing about Hell's Gates, they're going to have a reaction. They're going to be like, oh, hell no, 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 what the hell
Yeah.
is that? So I found that the story you tell them matters. They and the story that they tell themselves matter as well. You kind of have to be mindful of that too. Um, one of the things that, oh God, I was on a battlefield a while ago. It was a good while ago now. And at one point, I kind of like noticed myself being surrounded by dead people, and the living people I was with kind of like just instinctively moved away from me. I was like in this circle of dead people, and like they're just kind of around me. And I said to my companions, I'm like, I just got surrounded, didn't I? And my friend Emily's like, yep, I
Hmm.
just got a feeling to get out of the way, so I did. And they were very much like, they were trying to climb inside me. They're like, like, we want to talk to our families, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, hon, first of all, you're not climbing inside me. Secondly, um, I'm really sorry, but the year is like 20 something. Your family's long gone.
Hmm.
And but like they've been telling themselves this story for so long. It was really sad. It was really sad that they'd just kind of been stuck there because they'd been holding out because they were worried their families didn't know. Um, Another, like, some of the dead people stuck in death states as well. There's this one dead guy in Manassas that I encountered, and he, whenever I get near where he died, I start to get really disoriented, and one of my eyes starts shooting off to the side, and I get a migraine. And one of the things I found from working on battlefields, or at least this is my working theory about the eye thing, is that um, the person has like had TBI when they died. They had some kind of traumatic brain injury that affected their processing abilities. So, like I was this guy in Manassas. He showed me lying on my back, looking at the sky, and having like my weapon on me, not dead, like lying there, like there's a purpose to lying here. And this thought, at least I have a good view if I die. At least the view isn't bad if I die.
Hmm.
I researched, because it was right near the Zouave Memorial. I researched Zouaves when I got back, and the Zouaves were noteworthy for, they started out as this kind of like this regiment from, I think it was Morocco, but then other regiments started to copy their style of fighting and were known as Zouave units. So one of the things that sort of differentiated them from other types of military unit at the time was that they would lie on the grass, they'd lie down on their backs to reload. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if that's what I was seeing, like the reloading. Like, because he had his weapon up, like, and he was lying on his back, and it was very odd, but that's his story now. Like that's all he, this kind of like sense of disorientation, and like just the line on his back thing just keeps going through and through, and that seems to be his story right now, and that's his kind of afterlife existence. Equally, I have a friend from a long time ago who committed suicide. Every time I see him, he's still trapped in the the painful the painful emotions that he was in when he killed himself. He hasn't escaped it. It's because those stories that he had about himself when he died, just they didn't disappear. Just the world and any potential distractions did. So, I think about stuff like this, and I think about how, my family kind of deals with this stuff as well, and because I'm from a background of spiritualists. And yeah, I think the story is huge. I really do. For
Yeah,
me,
that
my
is.
afterlife, I'm hoping I go and hang out with my dead family. Like nothing crazy. I just want to go hang out with my ancestors.
Yeah, yeah.
go
Nothing
ch-
wrong with that.
go chat my Uncle Lou again.
Yeah, very interesting. Do you feel like there's something we can do to help people who are trapped in those stories in their afterlife to help them move along to something much more positive?
I do, but it depends on what the story is. For example, when you have, for example, my friend who killed himself, the story is an internal one. You know, it's something he's been telling himself for a long, long time, and he integrated it as part of his personality. Like he was chronically depressed before he killed himself, and you know, he's whenever I've seen him in dreams, he's still kind of like he's still in that space, like this absolutely hopeless space. And I'll try to talk to him, and I'll try to, I'll try to sort of be like, hey, dude, you can move on. Like, but he's just not in a place to hear it. Not all of them are. Other people who have like the battlefield dead, you sometimes come across folks, and you see this in veteran communities as well sometimes. People who feel like the things that they did during a time of war preclude them from any kind of happy afterlife. And so they stick around because they're scared of hell, basically. Another reason why you don't want to use hell in a song on a battlefield. These folks are the folks you can kind of work with a lot more. One of the things that we've been doing, because when I was in ADF, we I really liked the local ADF scene because it gave me it gave me lots of people to experiment with ritually.
There you go.
So we used to have full on necromantic rituals at
Nice.
Sewin. We
That was not in my dedicant program book, by the way.
I don't think other groves do this at all, but like we would actually incorporate full on necromantic tech. So we'd have some kind of liminal space to bring the dead through. We'd sing a dirge to bring them up, like just like the good old fashioned like Greek going, like singing wailing those dirges. And we'd also include a bread man that we designated the Sin Eater because we used to meet at Gettysburg. Like all our events were at Gettysburg because that's where our friend with the most space lived. And we were maybe like 2 hours, like not 2 hours, like 2 miles away from a battlefield. And so we kind of came up with this whole idea of like this ritual where we would eat cookies, like these morning cookies that we made. Like we'd call them, we'd invite them in, we'd give them offerings of food, drink, clothing. We'd that all tied into the sort of like psychopomp song at the end, and then we'd kind of designate this sin eater bread man, and we'd be like, look, if you have any sins you want to offload before moving on, use this guy as you would a sin eater, a real
Mm.
human sin eater. And you'd feel like this kind of like this sort of like line of sort of cold wind going by you to a sin eater. It was just like this sort of, you could almost imagine a procession of them. And this was like the rituals would always get a lot colder once you called them, which if you've ever worked with the dead, that's just like, yeah, all right, sky's blue, move on. um
Mm.
but you'd feel like this flow of air going, like this cold air, like that's tangible, going towards the sin eater. And then when you sang the sort of like psychopomp song, which is the same as the dirge, just kind of adapted, they like it would it would all disappear again. The temperature would go up again, and it was. But those kind of people who, if you can offer them a loophole to get out of what they're afraid of, like yeah, they will take it 9 times out of 10. I've found.
That's interesting. I like the loophole theory.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's basically editing the story for them, isn't it? And it's giving
Mm-hmm.
them a better story. Other people, though, like others, you might end up working with for a long time trying to get them there. Because I'm not a fan of like forcibly dragging them unless they're causing trouble. I'm not going to forcibly drag a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try and trap them or anything like that. Because I feel bad for them. But
Right.
if they are like if they're in pain and they're not happy with where they're at, because that's another thing. Some of them are just plain happy doing what they're doing. Rock on, guys. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to lurk in this world still and watch over people and do whatever you're doing and you're not hurting people, you do you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come say hi. But
Yeah.
it's you've got to there's no set approach there. You've just got to kind of take in, you've basically just got to treat them like people. I guess that's what this boils down to. Just
Mm.
because they're dead doesn't mean they lose their agency over fears or, the issues that they had in life. It's, we like to think of death as being this great cleanser that makes everybody like just okay again, and it ain't.
It ain't. The profound statement of it ain't.
Well, I mean, for a lot of
Mystical
people,
truth
it
bomb.
can be. I think for a lot of people, it can be.
Mm,
Like any initiatory like experience. You people can change their lives based on initiatory experiences.
this is true.
But like not everyone's going to have that effect. It's not going to work like that for everyone. Death is like the ultimate initiatory experience into whatever comes next.
Mm, facts. All right. Talking about death, what about your own physical remains? Do you have any specific plans or traditions that must be followed?
Myself,
Yeah.
no, not really. I've got a. I worry more about my tools, honestly.
Oh
Like
yeah.
yeah, I think about my tools a lot more because I mean, whatever, just throw me in an oven, I'll be fine. Um, throw me in an oven, put me in a box, and give to my kid to carry around and call me up with, whatever. But no, my tools I worry about more because I feel like, some of my tools have a life of their own, and when I am not here to look after them and deal with them, what's going to happen then?
Mm,
You
I
know,
think
some
about that a lot too.
Yeah, like I think it's one of those conversations that's coming up a lot more as the sort of like modern pagan, witch, heathen, magical revival sort of like ages. We're all getting older now. We're all thinking about this stuff, and it's a
Mm,
good thing to think about. If you're working with any spirits, and along similar lines, what about the spirits that people work with?
mm,
What about those spirits when, say, for example, somebody gets dementia?
right.
And say they've got like a spirit that's like just very invested in protecting them, but the person is not able to sort of like, their view of the world isn't, I don't want to say accurate, because their experience is their experience, but like their view of the world maybe not what's actually happening, like, or what's intended. And the spirit might react more to how they feel versus what's actually happened, and perceived threat versus actual threat. I see a lot of issues with kind of like, where do these spirits go if there's like a particularly strong bond, you know? And it's especially like, if you've got like familiars and whatnot. People used to pass familiars down,
That's a good point. Something I didn't think of. I mean, introduced to, I was introduced to that concept many a time, but it's not not something that comes front of mind a lot. But you've really, I think this idea of what about my things, my tools.
Well, I
Oh
mean,
man,
they're not
because
just physical items, though, aren't they? Not. I
yeah,
think we have to have a sense of responsibility when it comes to the spirits we work with. You know,
hmm,
am I leaving them in the lurch here? Have I provided for them? Am I upholding? I don't know, like, am I giving them a good goodbye as well, and making sure they're okay? Even if like taking care of them involves like something like ritual breaking of tools, like you see with like these staffs of sorcery in these deviant burials, like Lezek Gardella talked about. It's definitely it. I think we're not the whole story. We human practitioners are not the whole story. We have to think of ourselves as being parts of a web of relationships and
mm,
act accordingly. And some of those relationships are with objects that have their own agency. So
hmm.
it's just another part of a web that we need to take care of.
What an interesting thing. I've not given it a lot of thought, but it is something that comes to me, and now it's just another thorn in my brain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
I'm not
dig
too
it.
worried about my own. I'm
Huh.
not too worried about my own remains, but
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
I mean, I think I'll get around where I need to go anyway after I'm dead.
Yeah. I mean, when you bring that up, I'm thinking about like how excited I get if I find this rare like tarot deck from
Mm.
the 50s or the 60s that may have belonged to this particular witch, and like how cool that is to me. I've got a fucking ton of these things.
So
And
you're gonna be
runes
getting,
that I've made and
you're gonna be
like other.
getting out your collection later and being like,
Yeah, like how many generations from my death is it before whatever of my just collection of physical magical things, right,
mm,
are scattered?
yeah.
Like how many generations does that take if the things that survive before they're just scattered and end up, does the story somehow come alive again to the person that ends up with them or not? I don't know.
I
And
don't know about that either. I
and
mean, I
I
tend not to go with used items because I prefer, well, one, I prefer to make my
oh
own
yeah.
stuff, but two, I always wonder, like, I once had my mum, okay, so I used to collect tacky Catholic art. Part of it was, well, part of it was because it pissed off my roommate at college. Um, but the other part was I thought the aesthetic was kind of funny. And so I used to have these like, like velvet Virgin Marys with like flashing lights on and stuff, you know,
Oh, that's
or like
fantastic.
Jesus in glitter globes, that kind of nonsense.
Okay.
It was kind of like, it was just a thing when I was in college. And the one day my mum got me this weird plaque with like apparently a Virgin Mary on it, but she was missing a hand and all this other weird, creepy stuff. We had that thing for 3 days, and in that time, myself and my housemates' lives tanked. Like our
Oh.
luck got absolutely shafted. I split it up. I split it up with my boyfriend at the time. My friend got fired. Another friend's like gaming group just completely erupted. And in the end, I'm just like, the only thing that's changed has been that thing. Right, it's going in the trash. Because, idiot 20 something. I'm going to throw this in a
Yeah.
wheelie bin. Fuck you, plaque. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Uh,
know. A lot of cool thoughts have come to mind from this particular question.
so
Um,
I'm cautious about like used objects now.
yeah. Oh no, I get that totally. If I find something used, it's cool. It's pretty rare, and it just becomes part of my collection. And if I get the vibes from it, it's not cool. Like I'll cleanse the shit out of it and like defrag that drive.
I don't think there's any defragging this murder plaque at all. I think we would all be dead if we kept it.
Yeah, then there's things like that. If I would send to like Greg and Dana Newkirk for their museum,
I don't even think I'd send it to them. I don't even think I'd send it to someone I hated, honestly.
Yeah, well,
It can just
you
like
know,
be messing up things in a landfill somewhere.
yeah,
It's probably
well,
making its fellow trashy's life
there's
misery.
another blog post for you. Like, what do you do with this stuff that's just so bad?
Throw it in the goddamn wheelie bin.
Where does it go?
Piss on it and throw it in a wheelie bin.
There you go.
I mean, I'd at least pee
Um.
on it now.
Oh well, yeah.
But like 20 something year old me was just like,
But
I'm getting this out of my goddamn house.
I've had dogs my whole life. I just suspect if you pee on it, it's yours.
Oh god. So from that perspective, I'd have to keep it.
Yeah. You can't
Oh.
lick it either because I've been told if you lick it, it's yours. So,
Well, that always worked in the playground, didn't it? When like other kids wanted to steal your snacks, if you licked those potato chips, they couldn't have them then.
yeah. Well, yeah. Mostly because the salt is gone. Because
Well,
when you're a
yeah.
kid, you don't care about somebody licking it.
Well, I don't know.
Um,
Like it depends what you frame it with.
right.
Again, story, Lonnie. You make it super creepy. They don't want it.
That's true,
That's the
and I'm
same as
pretty good at
kissing
that.
me. Ha.
I can do that.
That's the same as kissing me. And I just licked that piece of poo over there. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Uh, I was a horrible kid.
Yeah. No way.
I used to talking about like kids acting like witches when they're children. I used to like because we used to have these like old metal trash cans, and I used to have one in the alleyway behind my parents' house, and I'd go and find all this gross shit to put in there, and I'd be like piling it in. I'm like, I'm making a curse, and I'm gonna poison, blah blah blah. It's like, holy crap! I was like 8, and I was there like making poisonous things out of nasty stuff. Ooh, here's some thorns. I'm gonna throw that in there too. Oh, some dog poo I found. I've got it on a stick, and I'm gonna throw that in. It was just nasty stuff.
Oh, I nearly cracked my head open. I grew up in a house that was a few blocks away from the two main cemeteries here in town. One
Mm,
is the Catholic burial ground, only for them, and the other is the city cemetery.
mm.
And they're only a few blocks from each other. Well, there's all
For the
these
rest of you
stories.
scumbags.
Yeah, there's all these stories attached to them, as there would be in any, like, you go to any town, start asking questions about the cemeteries. There's always stories. But one of them in particular was about this angel statue that's on top of one of the graves in the Catholic cemetery. That
Ooh.
if under a full moon at the specific hour you held fire up to its eyes, it would shoot flames. I was 9 years old.
So who's it shooting flames at? Is it shooting flames at you or just it, like in the air? Because I mean,
I didn't think to ask questions. I was
see,
9 or 10 years
would
old.
have. Is it me getting
So
shot?
off on my bike with a lighter I went,
Oh,
climbing this statue, holding up this flame to the eyes, super disappointed that no fire shot out. But I nearly fell off the thing and busted my head open.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
glad. I'm glad that no fire shot out because eyebrows are a good thing.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know what
so
I
he's not having
expected.
third-degree burns from some
Yeah,
vicious angel statue.
yeah.
Um,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a giant mausoleum in the city cemetery, and when I was about 11 or 12, me and two of my friends, with armed with BB guns, went went and camped out behind some tombstones because there was supposed to be a vampire that came out at a certain day and time, and we were going to catch him.
Did you at least walk around the
Yeah,
mausoleum 3 times
yeah.
counterclockwise?
No, you didn't have to do any of that. I would have
Oh,
been. I think I would have been a good Winchester.
you
For
know,
anybody that watches Supernatural out there.
you know, that's yeah, I could see that. If you're lurking at like the age of 11 for
Mhm.
was it 11?
I was convinced I was going to catch a vampire.
Just like gonna totally like gank that guy.
No, I wanted to ask him questions. I grew up and became a podcaster instead, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Fair enough. All right,
Um,
we
yeah,
have gone off the rails.
we
Let's get
totally have.
back, yeah, back on board here, so I can let you have a rest of your day, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about
Um,
ganking vampires now, so
mm-hmm. There's the third book. We've come up with a lot of book ideas today.
I am not doing a vampire book. I
um,
think I've got a gaming book coming up and all kinds of stuff. There's a couple of
hmm,
fiction books, so
fair enough.
just
Um,
books everywhere.
if you think back to like movies, TV shows, documentaries, whatever it can be, like what's one of your favorite cinematic entertainment moments, whether it's a scene, an entire show, movie, documentary that involves heathenry, witchcraft, elves? You pick one topic. What was it?
Oh God,
No, I don't know that one.
I'm not gonna say Blair Witch when the Blair Witch gets them because that's a bit mean. Um, hmm. Okay,
Hmm.
so in the UK when I was growing up, there was a show called Ghost Watch, and I think it was on Halloween. My mum let me watch it because, well, my life was already scarier than a ghost program by that point anyway. Um, I think I was like 11 or something. But yeah, it it had to have been inspired by the Enfield poltergeist. You know, you had these people in a house and things were happening to them. You had these investigators in, sort of experiencing things with them, and it was done like a documentary news program, and they kind of checked in with a studio and everything, and it was super believable until the finale, when it just became clear that the whole thing was a massive trolling. And to this day, The moment that show goes off the rails and it becomes clear it's all bullshit, it's still one of my favorite moments. I mean, it's just, it's hilarious. We don't really have good representation in, well, good and accurate representation, don't we not, in
Mm-mm.
movies and whatnot?
No, we really don't.
And especially not the heathen side of things.
Oh, absolutely not the heathen side of things. I'm not sure where you would find. I mean, you'd have to look at what the Vikings,
I
the
mean, maybe some stuff in the Last Kingdom, but even then,
Last Kingdom.
it's not like amazing, is it? Not. It's like, oh, okay, yeah,
No, somebody out there is going to have to start making something better.
they
What
are.
irritates me is that there's still always the witch is still always evil. Uh, like
Oh,
the
or
possession movies are always God is the good guy, the devil's the
mm,
bad guy. But I maintain that a motherfucking deity that brags about drowning children
mm-hmm.
can go fuck themselves forever.
um, the thing about witch movies as well is like even when they're not evil, sort of like interpersonal drama sort of rears its ugly head as well, doesn't it? It always
Hmm.
busts open with interpersonal drama, which I know is not necessarily inaccurate for the witch community, but still, come on. We can have our fantasies of healthy relationships as well, right?
Yeah, I want to see a movie start with someone doing a rune casting in their kitchen just as storm clouds gather on the horizon and something about the runes tells him Ragnarok is coming. You know?
Oh, God.
And he or she or they go out and become the force that brings together the right allies to stop it.
Oh, that'd be good as well because they're not god level power. They're just like a regular person just trying to do
Yeah,
the best.
the practical solutions of someone who just has to be human
Yeah.
in solving the problems.
Yeah, and kind of like dealing with like
Yeah,
the weird idiosyncrasies of like various beings are trying to get to, wake up and do the thing.
yeah. So yeah,
That's actually a really cool idea. I like that.
yeah. Well, it's out there. You can take it.
I don't have enough space for writing books.
Just keep taking notes, Kat.
Oh God, no, no, no. I've already
All right.
I've already got one book that's going to editing now, like a fiction book going to editing, and then the sequel I need to edit before sending it to editing,
Mm.
and then I've got to write the third part where all the characters are dead anyway, so it's all the underworld now, and then I've got the book that's kind of been channeled. Then there's the book that's about things like channeling books, and then there's it's got a bit meta here, hasn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
and then there's probably the werewolf books I'm gonna do because
Nice.
I want some healthy werewolf books too.
Me too.
I'm sick of these weird, like, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my god,
Yes, I know
like
what you're talking
just like
about.
alphas and whatnot when there's no such thing in actual wolves.
My personal email address is Lycan Zen, right?
Yeah,
it's a meditating werewolf. Come on.
right. They're just yeah. They're,
So
anyway, I just wish
there's
that
that.
they did better. We need to
Yeah,
do better by these lichens.
I agree. Last question.
I
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
She's born ready.
Born
Dane,
ready.
yeah, Dane Law Dirt, all that madness.
Team Law Dirt.
If
Yeah, you'd laugh, but we actually learned runes in school. You know,
I know your school is way cooler.
it
Uh,
was yeah.
maybe I don't know. There was all kinds of really cool fucking local history here that concerns the Underground Railroad and
Mm.
Grant, like President Grant before he was General Grant, when he was
Oh,
just Lieutenant
Ulysses.
Grant, taking his first command of troops like
Yeah, my man
100 yards from
Ulysses.
where I'm sitting right now. Like all kinds of cool shit like happened here just in that period, and then you go forward. Like there's, I don't know. I get upset with people don't learn their local history,
Mm.
but I digress. It's time to ask you the last question. This one comes from Tim Ferriss. If you know who he is, he's a very super successful podcaster. I wish him all the world of success and a little bit of that come my way. Um, if you could have a billboard anywhere with anything on it, guaranteed to get that message out to millions or even billions of people, what would it say and why?
Oh my god.
That's a terrible thing for a billboard.
That's a horrible question.
No, it isn't. I think
Um,
we've already see the world needs more Morgan. We've got that one.
mm,
What else is there?
hmm.
hmm. Got anything?
I don't know. Maybe something like "You are not alone," or like "We are none of us alone."
I like that.
Something kind of like along those lines, just to remind people, because I think living in the period we do, it's very easy to feel alone and feel like we're separated from everyone else, and that makes it very easy to um, sort of manipulate people. I think as well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, make them feel separate from the rest of society and make community almost impossible. And I think, I don't know, I like things that remind people of the value of working together and being a part of a community, and that interconnectedness that we all have. So I'd probably come up with something along those lines. Or maybe I'd just go with "You're going to hell, ha ha."
And we're back from the land of technical difficulties. Hopefully, in post production, we got all the things. I'm pretty sure we got all the things because when I was testing the recording, I heard you typing.
Oh, well, yeah, you got all the things then.
Yeah, got all the things. So anyway, thank goodness that was the last question before we got the audio strike again. Um, anyway, I really want to thank you for taking the extra time out today, especially for the Patreon members. Not a big tribe, but they're a loyal tribe, and I know that they're going to find a lot of value in the even more personal detail that you've so graciously shared with us today. So thank you so much again.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I super appreciate it. And as always, folks, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your familiars. Come join the Weird Web Radio Patreon membership. You know the value you're getting out of it. Let everyone else know too. I appreciate it, and all of your support definitely helps the show as we continue to move forward together. Stay weird out there, my friends.